Miami.
All right, here it is, another episode of the King and Ragone Show.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Hey, today we have the man, the myth, the legend,
The best punter in the country.
Punter.
Hey, for all you guys that tuned in for the first episode, I really appreciate you guys. If this is your first time, watching or listening to our episode, I appreciate you guys being here. So, let's get it going.
100%. We appreciate y'all. So why don't you just introduce yourself, big fella?
Hey, first of all, boys, it's an absolute honour to be the first guest on the King and Ragone Show. Absolute elite podcast, and I'm excited to talk about life with you guys.
Yeah, so real quick, you actually brought us something a lot of people in America might not know. Why don't you show them?
Hey, so shout out my mom's. She sent over some mini packs of Vegemite for the boys to try out.
Shout out, Mom.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know the taste of Vegemite, but I guess these guys might have to taste it out tonight.
Yeah. Hey, and
I'm looking forward to it. I don't like to try new food, but I'm looking forward to this. I heard it's pretty good.
And that if he's trying something,
yeah,
you know he likes you. All right. So actually, we have a surprise for you from Josh's Premium Meats.
The best meats in Miami. Some of the best I ever tasted.
What do we got going over here?
This right here is some Australian Wagyu skirt steak. Yeah. Hey, no. Yeah. Hold up.
Not right now.
Yeah, you could go put that up. Thank you, Jacob. Hey, you can't have any right now, all right? You're going to have to wait till after.
We want you to wait till after, because if you eat that right now, bro, you might...
He might leave. The big fella might leave now.
Shout out to Josh Premium Meats.
Yes.
Some of the best meats in Miami. Really appreciate you.
Make sure you follow them on Instagram. But also, I didn't want you to leave because, a lot of people don't know we had to negotiate you to get on the show some free meat. That's a joke, by the way. NCAA, don't come after us.
You know how they go.
Yeah, but the reason why we say that is there's some NIL rules that we need to speak on. Would you like to introduce a little bit about them?
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, first of all, NIL, the boys getting paid is amazing. It's been a crazy couple of months for everyone. I think it's fantastic for college football. Unfortunately, for the F1 international students on a visa like myself, I'm not legally allowed to make money or, promote companies and get endorsed and things like that until I'm actually on a working visa, which will be after college.
So you can't make a dime because you're on a student visa right now?
Yeah, so I can't make money because my visa is to study. So unfortunately, I'm not allowed to make money until I'm on a working visa. And I think once whatever happens after college, if it's the league or if it's a job, they transition, wherever you go to your workplace, put you on a certain type of visa.
So I got a question. So if I'm from Australia and I come to University of Miami as a regular student, that does not get a stipend check, how do they survive? You know what I mean? You have to be money from back home, or how does that work?
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, not too sure. I think realistically, if they were coming here and paying themselves, they would have to do a certain type of visa, which lets them, work as well as study. But
hey, I think it's kind of crazy too, because I mean, honestly, probably one of the most marketable players on our team, or even in the country, right? I mean, tagged from head to toe, bro.
But what's crazy about that, not just your tattoos, you're a punter, the best punter. You just so happen to have a lot of tattoos. You look great.
Did he not set an NCAA record last year?
You did. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, it was a great year last year.
It's because the balls, we got the new balls.
Shout out Derek.
That's an instant. Go ahead.
When I first got here to Miami, Lou was having a meltdown about these new footballs that I wanted to use, and then it ended up working out for him. I'm happy.
Yeah, I had a chat with Derek, and we got that sorted. So all success goes to Derek. No, but for real, last year was a crazy year for myself, but all props goes to, I think really unnoticed effort goes to Corey Couch and Gervin Hall. They bust their behind running down there for me every single time, and it makes my job a little easier when I got all the boys I got running down there for me. So that's huge. Oh, shout out to Clay James.
I am Clay James. Yes.
He's just elite, and he goes out there and takes care of business every single time.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, Clay James just started, training deep snappers as well. So you're a deep snapper in the Miami area, or you know somebody that is,
Yeah, if you know a long snapper that needs a bit of training, hit up Clay James long snapping. he'll get you right.
100%. One of the best long snappers in the country. We're glad to have him over here.
Yeah.
Hey, but a little more about NIL, real quick. Derek, why don't you tell us about how yours has just began and how's it going so far?
Yeah, I mean, so for me, I feel like, in order to be successful in doing NIL, you have to have a good team behind you. So that's what I wanted to do. So like a lot of people, ask me, man, how'd you get this done? How'd you get that done? How are you gonna, balance all of this, whatever I'm doing? I don't have to deal with anything. You know what I mean? Like I have a really good team behind me. My brother helps me. Everybody's like looking out for me. So that's the most important thing to me. And I wanted to. Like me personally, I don't want to go work with just every company, like every opportunity, just for a quick dollar. I wanted to work with good companies like Josh Pittman Meats, Dr. Ronnie Prosek, and CrossFit Key Largo. I want to work with people like that has my same values, have my same core values. So that's what I've been doing the last 2 weeks, getting ready for camp.
Speaking of CrossFit Key Largo, Lou, have you ever been there? To the Keys? You've been to the Keys, huh?
I've been to Key West on one occasion, yes.
Have you been to Key Largo?
Key Largo.
No, sir, I haven't been to Key Largo.
Really? Hey, well, we need to get you down there. We need to get you to CrossFit Key Largo.
Yeah.
Best gym in Key Largo.
It's the best gym in the Keys. Key Largo, Key West, whatever you want to say.
100%.
Yeah, let's do it.
Robbie Prosek is, he's the man.
You know what? We're going to plan a trip, next weekend or something. Right before camp, we're just going to go over there, have a relaxing evening, and we might just get a workout in. CrossFit Key Largo.
The Key is the perfect getaway. You know what I mean? Like, we go out there and chill, get on the boat, do what you want to do. I love it out there.
Speaking of getaways, let's talk about Australia. That's one getaway that I wish I could do right now.
The land down under.
Down under, minute word.
Hey, when I hear Australia, what I think about is spiders. I don't know why. I don't know if that's true or a myth. Like, I just think about spiders.
That's fair enough. There's plenty of spiders.
Yeah.
The big ones you see, mate, they're mostly non-venomous. It's the little red bats.
You said mostly?
You see a lot of there's a
What?
There's a spider called the Huntsman. It's a pretty big spider. They get pretty big. A little less big than a tarantula, but they're big. But they're friendly. They don't bite. They just.
Okay, so is it in Australia where they have those foot long spiders?
Foot long?
Bro, what? That's impossible, right?
No, they got.
I think we got a.
Well, he's serious though.
I'm dead serious.
No. I've never personally. I haven't seen a foot long. I haven't walked down. I haven't seen a foot long, but they do have bird-eating spiders.
I don't think.
Boy, hold on.
Okay.
Before you say that,
Okay.
if a spider's big enough to eat a bird, it's got to be damn near a foot.
Wait, he said what? Bird eating spiders?
Bird
Yeah,
eating.
that's a thing.
That's
Pretty sure. No, it is. They get caught in their web. You can look it up.
No, but there is foot long
Are you
spiders.
sure?
Yes, it's like a
Wait,
camel
so-
spider or something. Can you look that up for us and get back to us? It's like a camel spider, I think.
How do you know about that? What you to do? You freaking watch Animal Planet or anything? Like, what do you do?
Bro, I love watching Animal Planet. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
Nah, it's pretty interesting.
No, but yeah. So no foot long spiders.
I've yet to see a foot long.
Which beach is better? Where you're from or South Beach? Or,
Ooh.
Key Biscayne.
Key Biscayne.
Ooh.
Key West.
No, Key West.
Oh. I mean, I hate to break it, but I think Western Australia have the most beautiful beaches on the
All
planet.
these Miami fans are gonna disclaim you.
On the planet. But
Look at that thing. You cannot. For those on podcast, I'm just telling you right now, that is a very, very large spider. That is a very large
That's
spider.
insane.
No, that's probably
real.
a foot. Yeah.
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 That's a human hand right there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is a big spider.
But going back to the beach,
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
South Beach is amazing too. The water's crystal clear. I just like the fact in Australia you got beaches that are bleach white sand, crystal clear, and no one for miles.
Bro, this might be a dumb question. Where the hell does all this sand come from?
The sand.
Like the sand at the beach.
Okay, I don't even want to go there because I have no idea.
Where the hell does all this sand come from?
Hey,
Like,
I think I heard a fact
is it
that
man-made, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I don't know, but I heard a fact that for every grain of sand, there's a million stars or something.
bro, it's like
Okay,
a countable number. Of grains of
there's
sand.
no way that's a fact.
I think it might be.
Bro, this road is so crazy, bro. Like, you
Yeah.
think about all bro, look at all this sand right here. I know this might sound crazy, but I'm dead at for real.
For
bro.
real.
Where's all the sand come from?
10,000 stars.
There's 10,000 stars every
10,000 stars per
It's
grain of
10,000
sand.
grains of sand. Oh,
So
Like there's 10,000 stars.
Per grain of sand.
Oh
Wow.
my goodness,
I was,
10,000.
I was a little off, but yeah.
Wow.
You're off by 10,000.
Bro, what? That's insane.
Wow.
All right,
That's-
so
that's weird how you
what
do
part
that.
of Australia are you from?
So I'm from Perth. That's the city there, Western Australia.
Spell that.
6 to 10.
Perthh.
Oh,
H or
H.
oh,
Perth.
okay, I like that.
Perth.
okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Nice. So, for those who don't know where Perth is, we're somewhere in Australia that they can relate it to.
Okay, so it's about a 3-hour flight to Melbourne.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, about 3.5 hours.
I've been there
4
before.
hours to Sydney.
I've been there before.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not. I never left the U.S., bro.
Me either. I'm not gonna lie. I
It's
haven't.
crazy.
And the wild thing is, I didn't know before I started getting into college football, they actually host a college football game every year.
For real?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think the Rice.
Rice played there, right?
Rice
yeah,
played there.
that's
Yeah.
Rice played there a couple years ago. I remember that. They traveled to Australia. It was like a whole like. They left on Friday and I got there. It was like Thursday. I don't know. It was like a weird deal. I remember that.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's crazy. I think as far as college football and NFL, I think it's starting to pick up over there, which is good.
Yeah.
I even heard that in the near future there may be a Pro Bowl over there.
Really.
That'd be pretty cool.
That
Yeah, that would be
very
pretty cool. Yeah.
I would love to go there. But speaking of all this Australia talk, tell me, what was your journey like? And how did you even end up here?
Yeah, it was a wild one. I mean, originally, I was working away. I used to work sort of about a 2-hour flight on the real up north of Western Australia. Nothing out there, pretty barren, just red desert. But they have gas plants set up sort of on the coast, and I actually worked for a subcontracting company. The big company was Chevron, which is actually an American brand. And I'd go up there for 4 weeks, scaffold. Stay in a little hut kind of thing, a donga. Not much up there, but you get really good money and you can sort of get fit because you're up there 28 days. There's nothing else to do really. That you just work 12 hours and you come home for a week after that month. And it's a really good opportunity for young people to go up there and really save some money and do something. So my original plan was to go travel Europe, go see a bit of the world. I have my British passport, so I was going to go do all that. And my good friend Hayden Ratcliffe, shout out if you're listening, he told me about a couple of people that sort of knew this program in Melbourne that transitioned Australian rules football players to American football and taught them how to kick an American ball over, kicking an Australian ball. So that was sort of my journey, and I used all that money that I had saved to go travel the world and I pushed it all into junior college in San Francisco.
So, what in your head? So I know you played all Australian rules football. I know you did that. But what made you think, you know what? I think I could try this out. I think I could do it. Like, you just kicked the ball one day and were like, oh my, that went pretty far. Like, what'd you do?
Yeah, I think first step was just even finding an American football that's not like one of those. Those you get like the fake ones.
Childish football.
You can get the fake foam ones. I was like, oh, I can't compare. So then I ordered an NFL ball, and I was like, oh, I'm waiting for that to come to see, if I can kick this thing. And I remember I got up real late one night, and I was so excited to go kick it. I put my high beams on my Jeep, and just had my high. Yeah, I had a black Jeep similar to yours.
Jeep game.
Yeah, and I put the high beams on, and I was just kicking into the dark. I was like, I didn't even know where they were going, but I was like, it felt pretty good. The next day, I sort of picked it up, and you actually have to go through a tryout process with Pro Kick Australia. They're the program that get all the Aussies over here, and before they say, come over here and we'll train you, they kind of evaluate you and let you know what sort of potential talent you have. And they said, look, you've definitely got the talent and the leg power. Unfortunately, I couldn't come straight to a school because, funny enough, I didn't graduate high school.
You just dropped out of high school.
Yeah.
I'm not going back.
Yeah, we'll go back a bit. So I was in high school. I was in it was a high school. It was like an Australian rules football specialist kind of high school where if you're sort of good at football, you go there and play. So I was just playing there, and at about 10th grade, I kind of just started losing interest a little bit.
Trying to get to the money, right? Trying to go work.
Yeah, and then my brother had a business putting on roofs, and he, my mum said, look, if you're not going to go to school, I know you're not taking it seriously, you got to go help your brother. So, I mean, soon after that, I sort of left, and started working with my brother and finished up there and then become a scaffolder for about 7 years.
That's what's up.
So going back to the real quick to kicking the ball with the high beam arm in the dark. That reminds me of this movie. I forgot what it's called, but it's with an old man. He's like a high school coach, like pitching coach or baseball coach, whatever.
Yeah.
And he turns on like the high beams in his Jeep, and he has like a miles per hour, like drove up on some highway, and he's like throwing it
I've
against.
seen that.
Yeah, you know what movie I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's what that kind of reminds me of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was so excited. I remember the ball was actually, I mean, you can imagine a brand new NFL ball out of the plastic.
Yeah.
My worst nightmare now, but so I was just kicking that thing and then sort of adapted to it a little bit. Had one ball, so I was kind of kicking, going to get it.
Now,
But
at this time, were you in Perth or you were in Melbourne?
I was in Perth,
Okay.
so this is like before I committed all the way. I was like, you know what, I better get a ball. I said, look, he said Nathan Chapman, the owner of Pro Kick Australia, he was just like, you know what, we'll give you a workout in about 3 weeks and just evaluate, see how you're doing. So I pretty much had a couple of weeks just to get used to the American football and see how it goes. But leading up to that, I was just watching a lot of football.
On YouTube or something?
Yeah, YouTube punters and all that stuff. So it was good.
Now, I'm guessing, I don't know, is it like a huge deal for you to get accepted into the Pro Kick Australia kicking school or what?
Yeah, I think it's getting really big now.
Every punter is from Australia.
Yeah, you see now that Pro Kick do a really good job of doing that transition. And it's not just Power 5 punters. You know, they've got everywhere. You got D2, D3. You know, they evaluate you and they're pretty honest with they'll say what's up. They'll say, look, you've got this sort of leg. If you're interested, would like to, you do this, but they kind of keep it real.
Yeah, it's a little. So my little fun fact. So my freshman year, I was a punt returner at University of Houston, and my first game punt return week 3 against Cincinnati, and at the time they had an Australian kicker, and it was just on the come up then. I'm old. Well, we just on the come up then, and our coach all week is telling me how the ball spins different, right? He was a lefty, and the ball was like spinning weird. So like the whole week leading up to, I was nervous. I'm like, man, this guy from Australia's coming here, he's kicking the ball 70 yards in the air. Like,
shout out Jimmy Smith. He's actually on the Titans now.
Okay, he was at Cincinnati.
Yeah,
he was pretty good.
He was a lefty.
He was pretty good.
He was good. It's really good.
I was so scared, right? I was so nervous. I'm like, bro, I'm a freshman. Like, if I drop this punt and the ball already falling weird, I'm like, man.
Yeah.
It's all just crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing. When I think in college the rules are a little different on punt, so you can get away with kind of doing that rollout scheme.
Yeah.
When you're rolling out, you're giving the gunners a bit of time out there. So obviously this is different at the NFL level, so it's just straight spirals in there. So.
But I mean, I've seen you in practice do spirals
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
You're pretty damn good at spirals.
Yes,
now.
spirals isn't a problem. So leading into, I'm not worried at all. Hopefully I get to kick, showcase a few more spirals this year, leading into the season and during the season. So that's not a problem at all. So just looking forward to it.
Yeah. So I know one thing people want to ask you about is all your tattoos.
Yeah.
What's his face right here?
This one?
Yeah.
I just like that form of artwork. So another fact, I owned a tattoo shop. I was really heavily involved in tattoos. So me and my best mate at the time, Nathan Wilson, he actually plays pro ball back home in the AFL. So we went halves in a tattoo shop in Bali, and obviously I couldn't legally own a shop over there. Similar reasons, like different country and that. But his stepdad is actually Balinese, so we could put it all in his name. We went thirds, and I mean it was a good time. We'd fly to Bali. I'd live there for a bit, and just in and out, just help out in reception. I mean, you can imagine just getting tattoos, having a couple of beers, and just recipe for disaster. Yeah.
Recipe for disaster. No, I mean that's pretty cool. So did you just go back and forth from Australia and Bali? Like how was that?
Yeah, so it was good. I had a villa in a place called Canggu. It was pretty much like you got the main city type thing in Kuta. It's called Kuta, and it's like the main tourist strip. Yeah. You go about 30 minutes out, and it's real like kind of low key. You got your own villa, but it's really cheap. You had like 3 mates living in the house. Unfortunately, I wasn't there when they chose, and they put me upstairs in this room that was just swamped with mosquitoes. So I wasn't very happy about that.
Like no windows there, or what?
No, there was windows and that, but like it's kind of just like there's just trees and tropical. It's kind of similar with it. Yeah.
Okay.
But like they put me on like the loft, and there was just a fan. The AC didn't really reach it. There was no mosquito in there, so I kind of got stitched up. But I mean, going back to the point, like, did I fly in and out? It's like back home, like I said, the fly in, fly out work. You'd go work for 2 or 3 weeks at a mine site in the middle of nowhere, and then you get your 1 week or 2 weeks off. So if I was working the 4 and 1, I'd go to work for 4 weeks, then just fly straight into Bali and just spend my week in Bali.
Oh, man, I do want to get into it, but it's probably best we don't get into it.
I know Lou. I don't think we can get into the stories of him and Bali.
Yeah, we can't do that. I don't think so. Yeah, no, for sure. So from Bali, you were working back and forth. Then you went to JUCO, correct?
Yeah. So I actually, when I decided to give all this a red hot crack, I sold my share of the tattoo shop back to my mate, and just to help me with JUCO, because I tell you one thing, California junior colleges are not cheap.
I bet.
Price of living. So the first step was for me to go to junior college. I did some research. A few other Aussies in front of me, they went to that college, and they all went to really good schools.
Okay.
Samo and Hill, I think he went to Arkansas. Then it was Sleep Dalton went to ASU, and then the dude in front of me went to Iowa. So Iowa State.
Yeah. So is that a thing? Like most of y'all go to JUCOs first, then go like to wherever school they go to, or
no? So actually, just the people that have to get their grades, because you got to think, when we're going through high school, we don't think we need to get certain grades that get us into certain universities. Now the program Pro Kick Australia are a bit more informed about what grades need to be, what sort of subjects you need to be doing. They can get boys straight in there, and sometimes it works out. Sometimes just all your grades. If you get into Pro Kick halfway through high school, if you're talking about it, they set you up so all your grades align, just like high school here. You know what I mean? But for the boys that like me that kind of didn't graduate high school, or they just did whatever in high school, didn't think about college football over here, the route's kind of junior college.
So tell me about junior college. Tell me, it was so my brother, he actually went to Sac City. Okay. I know y'all played against Sac City, correct?
Is that Sacramento?
Yeah, Sacramento.
Yeah, they've actually got a crazy stadium. Have you seen their JUCO stadium?
I have.
It's better than most colleges.
No, it is insane.
Are they a good team?
They're pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We beat them.
Oh, okay, yeah, of course. But no, you went to what was the college called?
City College of San Francisco.
Okay, yeah. So how was that experience?
I mean, it was good. I think going back, I think they've won the most national championships in junior college history. Pretty sure of that. I think but yeah, just leading to that, I said my main reason was I've seen all these kids that are just like me go there and get out to pretty big schools. So
So how was the living conditions and all that?
So I flew over. It's about 30 hours of flying to get to San Fran. Absolutely torturous. I mean, you go through about eight different time zones, I believe. So you jet lag for about 10 days. And I remember getting off the plane. One of the coaches, Coach Nuno, he come and picked me up. He's the O-line coach there. And he took me straight to a training on a Saturday, because this is about a week, less than a week maybe before the first game. Exactly a week before the first game. So I hadn't even done any camps, nothing. I just got off the plane, and I remember getting to the field, and everyone's like, "Who is this guy?" I think I had like a shaved mohawk and like all my head tats, and then it's like, "Who's this?" And they're like, "This is the punter," and everyone's just like going crazy, like, "Oh, you got to break us down." And I mean, we don't really do like breakdowns like that over there. So I was like, "What do you do?" And they're trying to teach me all this stuff, and I mean, it was kind of awkward, but I mean, especially just coming off 30 hours of flying. Yeah. So I was just completely out.
Layovers, right? Had to.
Yeah. So we go to it was like Perth to Melbourne. It's like 3 hours, and then I think I had to fly to Melbourne to Sydney for some reason, then Sydney to LA, and then LA to San Francisco. It's even worse coming here though, because it's like you get to LA, but then you have to fly LA, Texas, Miami. But
Texas, had to get that in there.
Texas. But living. I was looking. They're like, "Oh, you can live here," and I was like, "Oh, nice! It's a little studio apartment in San Fran. We're gonna have a good time." I get there. There's it's like 12 other dudes in the house. Three bedroom, 1 bathroom.
Oh.
I mean, I go into my room where I thought it was going to be my little studio, like by myself, and there's bunk beds, all their clothes hang up on the walls. You know, just they're all linemen, by the way. Most of them linemen, big lineman boys. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I didn't go to JUCO, obviously, but JUCO life is just tough. Like, you make it out of JUCO, you a real dude, you know what I mean? Like,
That is absolutely insane. Wait, hold up. Did you say one bathroom?
One bathroom.
12 men.
12 grown
Can
men.
you imagine 12 footballers, 13 most of the time, sometimes 14, all getting up to go get ready for practice, and there's one shower, one sink, you know, someone showering, brushing their teeth. It's
So
wild.
one's on the toilet, one's in the shower, one's brushing their teeth.
And pretty much, it's just a free for all. Everyone's doing whatever they can. The kitchen was just,
disgusting.
yeah, it's disgusting.
So I cook a lot, or y'all take out, or like?
Yeah, so I learned I try to eat cheap because, I mean, like I said, the cost of living in Cali is crazy.
It's insane.
San Francisco too. I think all 12 of us were paying like $500 each a month for like this.
So that's what, $6,000 right here?
Yeah, so it was like, I think we added up like it was getting like 6.5 or something from all of it.
6,500.
Yeah, with after everything, and like it wasn't even that good of a house. But I mean, it's that. I remember my last 6 months we moved out to an apartment, and it was still crammed. It still had two in every bedroom because of the price. But I mean, that was like clean, and you know, that was a good little escape for my last 6 months there.
Man, that right there sounds awful.
Yeah, it was, but it makes being here at you know, living in Miami and living in the apartment I do now with Clay just so much more amazing because I went through that 2 years, and it was good. After JUCO, actually, I committed to Miami, and then I went back to Australia and went back to work in scaffolding for like 3 months,
Wow.
and I come here straight after.
So you committed, then went back to Australia
To work?
to work.
To work, yeah, I've actually got videos which we can put it in once I get it, of me in my like work overalls with a scaff belt, gloves, everything in the refinery, like throwing up the U.
That's
I gotta find that for you.
No, so I was gonna ask, with San Francisco, how was it? So when did you start getting recruited there?
So yeah, after my season in San Fran actually was horrible. Going off stats, it was a miserable place to punt. It was just absolute wind tunnel right on top of a hill at San Fran. For you that know San Francisco, you understand it's a really windy spot. And I just come fresh off the plane. I never even caught a snap from a snapper. Lucky enough, my junior college snapper, it was really good. Shout out Long Don.
Yeah.
That's his game in there. John Barrard, his name is currently. He went to Texas Tech. Now he just transferred to Maryland. So I was lucky enough to get a good junior college snapper because usually, usually they're not the greatest. Yeah. So it's good to have him there with me. But just even catching a snap, having a live rush, having just two people on the shield in front of me. You know, that was the first time I experienced it was on a Saturday in a game.
Wow.
Type thing, yeah. So, I mean, I was a little, you know, out of groove, to say. And then, so just as I started finding my feet, I decided to redshirt my second year there because I didn't want to use another year of eligibility.
That makes sense. Yeah.
If I knew there was a COVID year, I could have just played
Yeah,
2 years.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you played your freshman year.
Yep.
Sophomore year, you just
So,
like, I'm a red shirt because I'm gonna have 3 years in my college I'm gonna go to.
yep.
Right, and I think that's a great decision because you did. Oh, you still be here because COVID. But,
Yeah.
Um,
I think it was important I really wanted 3 years to establish myself in college football. I think you know, your first years, even though I played at JUCO, you still get the COVID. You know, it's big time football coming out here and kicking in front of the crowds. My first game was against Florida at Camping World.
How did you do that game?
And that was wild. I don't think I did very good. I think they did an all-out rush my first punt, and they brought all 8. So I think I got my get-off was like 1-7 or something.
Yeah.
They nearly blocked. My first punt was actually nearly blocked.
Jeez.
The Florida special teams definitely knew that it was my first game, and
Yeah.
they wanted to bring the house to it. But you know, soon enough you find your feet out there and you feel comfortable. And you know, especially after last year, I'm starting to feel real good.
So yeah, his first game was also my first game at the U, it was probably one of the coolest experiences. So for your first game in college football,
Yeah.
to be Miami versus Florida,
That's huge.
oh, I mean, it was awesome.
I hate that stadium, but yeah.
Oh yeah, Kevin was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Horrible.
I remember watching that game. I should have won that game, man.
yeah. You know what? I don't want to even get into it. There was a lot of things about it, but can't go into that now. It's the past. We got to move on with it. Yep.
Facts.
But yeah, so how has the transition been from Australia to America? Like, I know you tell me sometimes about, you know, when you talk to your friends back home, they're like, bro, your accent, like, what happened to it?
It's actually it's pretty thick to me.
Yeah, I know, it seems thick to us, but when you...
No, I think so. When I talk to my friends back home, my accent's still there. I don't generally, speak like more American per se. It's just I've really slowed down how I talk. When I first got here, I couldn't even order food. I mean, yeah, they'll literally look at me like I'm speaking a different language. So I just talk really fast and this, that, and I'm like, okay. So I just really slowed down. And then when I talk to my friends now back home, they're just like, yo, why are you talking like that?
I had a stuttering problem all the way till I got to like ninth grade.
Yeah.
I talk super fast right now still to this day, but like back, imagine like being a kid trying to talk like that fast, and I couldn't get my words out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know when my brother came here, everybody talks about my brother like, man, your brother kind of talks slow. My brother was,
You talk slow as hell.
Yeah, no, my brother. Okay, so my brother talks a little slow. He kind of had the same thing as you, but he just slowed down his words, to speak. But my brother was like, "Damn, Garrett talks fast."
I talk fast, bro.
Yeah.
My whole family talks super fast. I don't know why, but when I was like 7, 8 years old, bro, I used to be in school and my teacher was calling me, and I used to she asked me a question, and I used to be so nervous because I knew what I was saying in my head. Like I knew the right answer, I knew what I was saying in my head. I just couldn't get it out because I was like thinking about it too much. And then once I got to high school and started doing more interviews and stuff like that, it got better. I still stutter every now and
It
then.
really helps doing the
Good talk,
interviews,
yeah.
but that's a different type of pressure when you're in primary school and you're reading a book or something.
Bruh.
It's like, yo, Lewis, read the page.
Bro,
I
just look at my teacher like, bro, why you always calling me? Like, I got this damn stuttering problem. Like, stop calling me.
Like when you're in class and the teacher asks, "Does anybody want to raise their hand?" and you're sitting there, "Please don't call me. Please don't."
I'm
call
looking
me.
around like,
You know they're gonna call you.
And then all of a sudden they call and you're like, "Oh my God, why?"
Facts. Hey, my teacher was Miss King, right?
Really?
No, it was crazy. Miss King, she's always like, I thought she was picking on me because she always called me to read out loud or answer a question. I'm like, bro, there's like 20 other people in this class. I'm like, why always me? And actually, after their class, I think it was like 3rd grade. After their class, I started speaking better, getting more confident, but still nervous a little
So
bit.
shout out Miss King.
Shout out Miss King, I guess.
Shout out Miss King.
I got suspended though, because of her one day.
Really?
Yeah.
You want to tell us about that?
I can. We was playing jackpot at recess. Remember jackpot? You know what jackpot is?
Yeah.
You get a rock or a ball, whatever, you throw it up, and you're like, this is for 100 points, and whoever catches it, they get to come be the thrower.
Yeah.
So we played jackpot at recess, and we had a rock. We played jackpot with a rock, bro.
Oh God.
As a little kid, bro, you tell everybody you play quarterback. I play quarterback, man, my little league. But they don't know you play quarterback. They don't know how good you are or whatever. So we throwing a rock back and forth or whatever. And I seen her, she had a couple coffee like this and sunglasses on. We had
You
recess.
did not.
I didn't try to. I didn't think I could make it that far.
So you did try to.
I didn't try to. Though.
He said, "I didn't try to. I didn't know if I could make it."
Bro,
Yeah.
so I seen 6 kids right here, and she was probably 10, 15 yards behind them. So I just chunked it. It was a small rock, bro, and it literally hit her in the face and fell in her coffee.
It fell in her coffee.
It fell in her coffee.
Fortunate, that is very
Yo,
unfortunate.
she was so mad. She came over there and grabbed me and took me to Miss Hilarious. Miss Hilarious was principal.
Not saying we played beer pong or nothing, but if we did, I would definitely pick you on my team. Jesus.
Yeah. Back in Australia, we just play King of the Pack. You ever play that?
What is
So
that?
we just get a footy in Australian rules football. You got one at the front, and there's just 20 dudes in a big pack. You just kick the ball as high as you can, and then whoever marks it becomes the king of the pack.
It's really the same thing.
That's
We
the
just
same
kick
thing?
it, we just throw it.
Okay, yeah.
Same thing.
Why are y'all always kicking stuff?
Bro,
Aussies.
that's our sport. So in our sport, Australian rules football, we call it footy. We just kick the ball. So to pass, it's kicking. To get down the field, you got to kick. And if you mark it or grab, you call it grab. You can stop, sort of get on the mark, and then just keep chipping away till you down your side of goals.
That is insane.
Bro, it's hard too.
Yeah.
I did a whole video when I was back at Houston with Dave.
Yep.
He had like a little show and he was, he had to throw, I had to kick, and we're trying to get targets. Bro, I suck. I can't do that shit, bro.
So actually, that brings me up, brings my next thought. You remember, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, it was me, you, Jay Garcia, Tyler Van Dyke. We're all, standing at the U trying to hit the goalpost.
Yeah.
Throwing the football, trying to hit it. I think you were the only one.
I hit it.
Yeah, you were the only one.
Make sure you say that.
Yeah.
Hey,
So,
bro, I was trying to.
So me, Jake, and Tyler, we're over here throwing and trying to hit it. Lou just comes out of nowhere. He's just wearing sweats and like flip flops or something.
Crazy thing ever.
He literally just walks up. He goes to the 50-yard line. He's like, "Hey, let me see it." Grabs the ball, doesn't stretch, doesn't do anything. Just grabs it, like wiggles around or whatever. Takes one step, kicks it. Not only does it hit the goalpost, it hits the right upright and then hits the bottom of the goalpost too.
Everything that has to do with the goalpost. It was the craziest thing ever.
And you know what he did? He just looked at us and walked off. Didn't even he wasn't.
At that point, you're not saying anything. You just drop the
like-
mic. You drop the mic and walk off.
That was probably one of the coolest things I've ever
That's
seen.
why he's the best player in the country.
100%. I was like, he did not really just do that.
I remember your face too. Your face was like, what the? What
Yeah. I'm turning around like, what? Like, actually, you know what's crazy? I was about to bet you too.
Yeah, we put it bet like $100.
Yeah, I was like, I bet $100 Louis hits it.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, bet. And
Yeah,
then,
of course I'm gonna take that bet. Like what? Like,
yeah, and then I was like, I kind of got scared a little bit. I was like, nah. And then he kicks it. I was like, dang, he's gonna hit it. And then it hits. I was like, no way. I couldn't believe it.
That's crazy.
Oh man. I mean, is that what happened? With Australian rules football, that's how you got good at aim. You were just kicking it, like passing it, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like it's the same as Derek passing to a wide receiver. That's how you just got to kick to people running, moving. You're always kicking to a moving target because they got a man, right? So you always just got to learn how to kick on your left as well. You got to be because half the time you're going to be running the other way.
You can kick with your left and right.
Yeah, drop punts. I wouldn't spiral a football or kick a ball on my left in a college game, but Australian game you got to if you want to progress to the next level you got to be multi-foot.
So you're telling me you could probably kick better with your left foot than I can with my right?
Absolutely.
100%.
Oh my, that is awesome.
So I want to ask you this question. So you coming from Perth, Australia, right? Going to San Francisco, then coming to Miami. Like, what was the biggest difference from Australia to America? Not football related, just anything like you could think of, if you could think of anything.
I think the difference is a little bit of a different culture. I think the sports in general here are just like pretty much like on steroids. Like everyone loves sports. There's so many people here that are just heavily involved in sports. I think it's an amazing thing. I think it's a great country. There's plenty of opportunity for anything, no matter what you want to do. This country, you can do it. But yeah, I think it worked out well for me because I come over here not knowing what everyone would be like. But I mean, as you guys both know, you come into a football team and it's instant family, and it's the same. It's the same type of banter. Mucking around. It's the same stuff back home. So I mean, I felt I was really nervous coming over to San Fran by myself. It's the only really place I've ever been where I didn't know anybody. Usually where I go, I've got someone with me. I know someone there. I just had contacts there that I've been talking to, but I've never really met them. So going there is pretty scary. But just the whole experience in San Fran itself is it's a cool little city. They're in their own little bubble, over there in San Fran. But
San Fran is different.
Yeah.
I think I'll be out there to Cal Berkeley, San Fran. It's different.
Yeah,
it's a different vibe.
Yeah, for sure. But then coming over here, I think it was late in my my redshirt year, my second year, kind of towards the end of the season. I started talking with Miami, and it was actually one Sunday night. I'll put some film out, and I think Mississippi State actually contacted me, said we're going to come watch you kick tomorrow. We want someone that can roll out and spiral. And I said, oh sweet, like that's a done deal. I can roll, no one can roll out. I mean, at the time wanting to get into a college, so I said that's sweet. And then I called Miami and I said, like Mississippi State are coming tomorrow, and they're probably going to offer me. Like I'm thinking probably they hear this all the time, like just to try and get an offer, but it was legit going to happen. And then 10 minutes later, I got a call and they said, you want to come to the University of Miami?
Who called you?
It was Coach Hartley at the time.
Okay.
Coach Hartley and Coach Rick. And then after all what happened, Coach Diaz called me straight away, and just because I was back in Australia working.
Yeah.
I think it was like New Year's Day. The news come out of Coach Rick, and I was thinking, I'm just I'm a verbal commit, and my stats at JUCO weren't the best, right? I think I averaged like 38. 38, sorry, 38.
28, bro. I would have been like, why did they offer
They
this?
might as well go for it.
Yeah.
You might as well sling it every fourth down. No, but I had 38. It wasn't the best, but I had really good film. Obviously that could stand coaches, so I'm really privileged that Coach Diaz, honoured that verbal commitment. And funny if Aussies, because of the time difference, we're 12 hours in front in Australia. I was the first signee of the year, and Coach Diaz's first ever, signee. So it was cool.
When I first got to Miami, the first person I met was
Yeah,
Lou Hedley.
yeah.
Where did y'all meet at? Like in the building or?
Yeah, it was
Meet and greets in the Hex.
in the front of the Hex.
Yeah.
Man, he was the first person I met. He was the first person I talked to.
Yeah.
I mean, after that, we just became like best friends. We were together every day. Like we were coming over. Like he would come over to my place, cook whatever. We go to the pool. I go.
Cooking?
Yeah, man, we cook
cooking?
omelets and
Decent
stuff like
cooking.
that. Yeah, cook up omelets.
You like
Omelets, yeah.
Omelet?
I'm elite at omelets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah. So we would hang out all the time. That first summer. That first year, really, I think we hung out probably every single day. There was really rarely
because
day.
I come in the summer A, so I got put through a summer, my first summer in American football, real summer. I didn't really, and that was tough. But my house, I lived with Cam Harris, and we lived just down the street. So coming into summer workouts plus and full camp, obviously, for all the footballers out there, understand the time you spend in the building during camp. They set beds up and stuff in there, but my bed was just obviously down the road. So I'd come back and like Rome and Ragone would just crash, and I was like, that was Rome Finley, and Ryan would just there crash instead of just parking up at the school and sleeping. So we were just always together.
Hey, fall camp get like that though.
No, for sure.
All day for a month straight.
I would literally, it's a 5-minute walk to his place. I'd walk there. He wouldn't even be there sometimes. I go through the back and just knock out. He'll come back from school, practice, like anything. He'd be like, but he knew I was. He'd be like, "Oh, what's up, bro?"
I'm a little worried about that right now because we live so not far, but a little.
Oh, I know, but fall camp, man, we don't really have anybody that close to school anymore.
Everybody moved away.
You gotta. It's a little different for punters though. I think it's specialists in general. I think camp's a little different for us. So I can't talk about it being bad because we got one job. We go out there and kick every other day.
Bro, how many times has it been at practice? When we finish in practice, I see Lou and Clay.
They're already dressed.
Jose coming out freshly showered. I'm like, what?
Well, they already did their job. They made all their kicks. Exactly. They charted, did everything. They had their 2 specialist periods.
Yeah.
They did a good job. So
we had the best specialists in the country.
Yeah, so you can't argue.
You
can't argue.
You gotta perform to get treated well, but it's good. You gotta do your thing, man, in order to get the respect from everyone else.
Honestly, I came from Houston. This is probably the best I've seen specialists get treated. Rightfully so, because we had the best punter, best deep snapper, best kicker last year in the country. Like we had all these guys that are literally winning us games. Like we know. We go 3 and out, we back to 120. I don't got to force a pass on 3rd and 10 because I know I got the best player in the country.
Because Louis is going to kick it to the opposite 20.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think we had this conversation not too long ago. We said it's a good, a duo not many people think of, but a really elite quarterback and a good punter is a really good thing because in the back of your mind, even subconsciously, that like if worse comes to worse and it's a bad down or whatever, you got me to come out there and kick. I think that's with every team that has a good punter and QB. I think it's a really good relationship.
A defensive coordinator's best friend is a freaking punter.
Facts.
Seriously, it makes their job a lot easier when you have a punter like Louis to go out there and, you know what, coach, I got it. I'm gonna pin him.
Absolutely, and I'll go back to this like last year. I want to say after the last 6 or 7 games, we had 14 scoring drives with 80 yards or more. Mm-hmm. And that's tough to do. You know what I mean? So going against good punters and us having a good punter, like, bro, it's not a lot of times you're gonna get the ball 20-yard line, go down there and score.
I don't think we lost the punting battle all last year.
No, kicking every
Yeah,
I want to say, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, and there was some like great battles too, and Louis just outkicked them.
For sure.
Yeah, for all the maybe punters or kickers watching, if you want a really good game to watch, you should watch the Pittsburgh Miami game.
That was the game.
I think it was probably one of my best games, and I punted a lot. And Kirky for Pittsburgh was absolutely rushing them too. So it was just a back and forth battle. It was really good.
I promise. I think we got the ball like inside our 15 like a bunch of times, bro. I think the first 4 or 5 drives we backed up. And it's tough to go.
It's crazy that people that really don't watch football, or like even if they do, they don't really notice like, oh, you know, this punting, they're just punting it. Let me go grab a bag of chips or something.
Yeah.
They don't understand like. Us, like the offense and defense, we're out there, we're watching, looking at it.
Bro, go look at every 4th down tape. I promise you, if you see me on the sideline, I'm looking at the punt and looking at our punt return, like, come on, bro, like, don't let the ball roll. You know what I'm saying? Get some yards, get some positive yards, because that helps us a lot.
Yeah.
I love watching the punting battles during the game. I'm not gonna like that. Actually, is like.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's like my favorite thing in the game, but it's definitely up there.
It's something that people don't think about.
Exactly.
It's super important for us to win football.
Exactly. It's one of the most important things in the game.
That's why I like what we do here. Like Coach Packy's one of the best coaches in America when it comes to specialists, because he takes it so serious, right?
Yeah.
And like we talked about last, like, bro, being on special teams is like important. Like you get to the lead from being a good special teams player,
100%.
right? So like people don't understand that. All they see is offense, defense. But if you got a good punter, bro, you got a good gunner, a good punt returner. People that can block the gun, like, bro, it makes a huge difference.
That right there gives you a huge chance to win. I think we do a lot of statistics after the game, and a huge part of that we go through punting and like coverage and things like that.
Yeah.
And most of the time, we won without like a turnover, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
We won the coverage battle. We won the game.
Won the game.
I think it was like hitting yardage, they call it. We would win the hitting yardage by like 100 yards.
Hidden yards. I think that's why I respect Coach Diaz so much, is because he's so on that topic of hidden yards and how important, you know, you talk about, you know, even when it's returning punts or punting, like every 10 yards is a first down. Like
100%.
no matter what, no matter where you're on the field, if you're not taking it or catching it or punting it, like it's a first down is 10 yards. So
it's a game inside a game. That's what I like to put it.
100%.
And I think all the best coaches in college football, they are really good special teams coaches. You know what I mean? Like they hire really good people, or they know their stuff, and that's a big. All the championship teams that have good specialists, great specialists.
100%.
For sure.
yeah, and that's shout out to Coach Packy,
Great
Coach Coulter.
Yeah, Coach Coulter.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know Coach Coulter. He you know, he's behind the scenes. He takes care of us a lot, and he's the mind behind a lot of what we do, and he works his behind off to get us to where we are. And Coach Packy's obviously elite as well, so we got a really good thing going in our special teams.
Coach Coulter and Coach Packy, great duo, honestly.
Great duo.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, but along with that, what was your favorite game besides the pig game? In your 2 careers, what was your favorite game of you punting? You alone, not the matchup, just you.
Just punting.
Yeah, just you alone.
Like a game you felt like you did.
Wow,
amazing.
like this is
wow.
like, yeah.
I think that Pittsburgh game was good because it gave people the opportunity where Pitt were really good, and they kept checking us. They checked us into I'd go out there and if I'd check again. You'd check about 3 times. Sometimes we went out there, and it gave me an opportunity to showcase spiraling.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people after the game, they come up to me and said, "Yo, like we did this because we thought you were going to shank your spirals." I said, "Well, you know now next time, like not to like come here, that's 60 yards."
Actually, we would love for y'all to check into that so we could
Check
spiral.
me into spirals.
Please.
Hey, anybody watching, check him in his spirals.
Please.
Right. Get more tape.
I hope that doesn't like come back to bite us. Like, and you don't get a spiral all year. That's gonna.
They're not watching our show, bro.
I hope not. I hope not.
I'll stay over there.
Yeah.
Feel me? Let's talk about this. So, you have siblings?
Yes, I do. I've got an older brother, Jack, who was he was a great mentor for me. He obviously introduced me to the working world.
Yeah.
He was pretty harsh on me. We'd get up at about 4. We'd get these, put these colour bonds, schools like tin roofs.
Yeah.
We'd smash out the house and we'd try to finish by about 1. So you can imagine just non-stop, just non-stop until 1. But then we'd knock off at 1, and that's a pretty good gig.
Sure.
I mean, in the summer in Australia, it's too hot to work on roofs past 1 o'clock. It's just absolutely scorching. Yeah. So as we're doing that, he introduced me to what it's like to work hard.
Yeah.
And he, after work, would go out, take his boat out, go fishing or go surfing. And I've also got a younger sister, Ruby. Shout out Ruby, love ya. You know, she's doing her thing right now. They're actually, funny enough, they all work on the same gold mine right now.
Okay.
So there's you know, the mining industry in Australia is huge. And they work in a huge mine. It's not like them gold rush shows you see on, yeah, it's like a huge industry. So I think my brother does all the explosives out there. Like there's obviously a huge hole, looks like a crater. Like the massive giant trucks drive down it to pick up dirt and, you know, keep making that hole bigger. It's wild. And he does the explosives. I think my sister does the cleanup crew. My dad's one of the bosses out there. And my mum used to drive those giant yellow trucks, like those massive ones.
Okay.
You have to climb like 3 ladders to get up there. So
Sheesh.
That's crazy.
yeah, it's crazy. So they're all out there. And, I mean, it's a good time. So I miss them so much. They were supposed to come over here. My brother and dad were going to come over for about a month of football last year, and then obviously COVID hit, and then that even stopped me going home to Australia because of everything. I mean, I was actually considering going back during the summer just for a couple of weeks, and it was like $8,000 for a flight, plus I think they sting you $3,000 for quarantine. It's like even to get off, and then you have to quarantine for 2 weeks. So like it's not worth it. Yeah. So it's like, I mean, college football schedule, you can't be sitting around. I'd want at least 2 weeks in Australia if I'm doing all that, and I mean that's like 5 weeks away from football, and you know that's too valuable time to be here.
So, also, with that, when's the last time you've been home?
Since I come here, since my first day at Miami, about a year and a few months, 2 years,
2 years, almost.
nearly 2.5 years.
Yeah,
Man,
that's tough right there.
yeah, it's tough. I mean, how is that for you?
I mean, it is really tough considering I kind of went to JUCO for 2 years, and then I got home and I had like 3 months with. I mean, I was working, so I didn't really get to catch up as much as I wanted to. I was working, but I got to catch up with him for like 2 or 3 months, and then I was straight back over here, and then I haven't seen him since then.
Okay.
Man,
Sheesh.
yeah.
That's tough. I know I get homesick sometimes. I'm out here for a while and I want to go home, so I can imagine how you feel.
Yeah, but also saying that, you know, one of the reasons why it is really easy to stay here is my son. I've got a, you know,
Yeah.
for those who don't know, I've got a beautiful little boy, Loki. He's 3 years old and he's just amazing. He's the most beautiful little kid ever.
Absolutely love Loki. One of my favorite kids to be around.
Yeah, no, he's adorable and he's such a good kid and I'm super excited. You know, what I'm doing, he's going to see that and he'll realise I just want to show him what hard work, you know, looks like in this country. So he'll be able to see what I'm doing whenever he can, you know, when he's old enough to realise what it all is. So that's why I keep pushing. It really motivates me.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. Yeah, he has a great example. You know what I mean? As far as, I mean, you come from a hard-working family. You out here working hard, trying to make memes. So he has a really good example.
And not just saying this because I'm your friend, but like seeing all the things you go through and things you do for him. I mean, I think personally, I mean, you're a really, really good dad.
I appreciate that.
Really good dad. I mean, you send him stuff all the time. I mean, he's well taken care of. He comes over here at times too. I mean, I remember last time he was here, he was playing with the little football in the back of my truck. His little Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
No, every time we come see all the boys.
Oh yeah, you remember we went to the mall with him too that one time?
You can't leave him alone running around. You put him down and you look away, he's gonna be running. He's running everywhere now, and he's half Puerto Rican, so he speaks a little bit of Spanish. Yeah.
Half Puerto Rican and Australian.
Half Australian, half Puerto Rican. So
What a great mixture.
might be a little bit of a lady killer growing up.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be a lady killer. Yeah,
for sure.
Damn. So I wanted to ask you, with your journey and everything, I mean, and the person you are, what made you the way you are? Not just like somehow your parents, you know, aided you type of thing. Like, you as a person, you make a choice at a point in your life. What made you decide to be who you are?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, I was getting to a point, I was working, like I said, 7 years. I was a really hard worker. I could, you know, wherever I went, I tried never to burn my bridges, and that's the same as football, right? I always worked hard, really hard, and it's kind of like I seen all my friends, you know, they get a house, they get married, and I was just like, damn, like I seen all my friends playing pro football back home, and I was like, I really want to be on the other side of the fence, like, you know what I mean? Is there in a way? And then obviously the opportunity with Pro Kick Australia come up, and I learned what college football is, and I was like, you know what, I know I'll work hard now for it. You know,
Yeah.
I've always worked hard. So I just sort of committed, and it is the best decision I've ever made. Just getting out of my comfort zone. Like I said, like if it wasn't coming here, I was going to go move to England and be a scaffolder in England, just meet new people. I think.
What's a scaffolder, bro? I don't know.
Okay, so a scaffolder is, say there's a building getting built. You'd see it in Miami all the time. You see all that metal platforms around the building,
Yeah.
and like it's pretty much you build a working platform for all the other trades to get on there.
Okay.
So if like you need to paint a skyscraper or like a big city building, I'll scaffold around it, and then y'all can just keep climbing up painting.
They get paid really well, right?
In Australia, I mean, construction, that's why it's so different back home. Like, here I feel it's really important to get an education. Not so much, it's just like jobs here, really, you require to get like a college degree.
It can give you a head start.
Yeah. So I think back home is construction. Like I said, I dropped out of school. I still was very successful, made really good money. I think when I was working up north, I was like 19, 20, making like 14 grand a month.
Jeez.
And then, like I said, you're up there for 28 weeks, so you get food, you get accommodation, like you can save every cent of that.
That's what's up.
So I think just coming over here, I think since my time in America, I've really matured. I think I started the journey when I was about 23, so obviously the process was a lot longer with JUCO. It probably took me a year. Once I decided, what I wanted to do, it took me a year to process and get to junior college. But I've really matured as a person. I think, never in my wildest dreams I would have thought I'd come back to school. I never liked school, but now I really enjoy it. From what I did at junior college, graduated there, come here. I graduated here recently, and I've really enjoyed the process, not just the football side of things, but getting in the classroom and learning a heap of other stuff that I never would have known about, and just coming out of this whole process, nothing to do with football, just a more educated dude that just has a way different outlook on life and everything.
For sure.
For me personally, I've always been the type to, like, my thing was to bet on yourself. Like, when I walked on at Arkansas State, I was just betting on myself, and to be honest, like, personally, I feel like I didn't get the chance, and I don't know, I would say if I failed or not, but I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take one more chance. I'm gonna bet on myself and come to Miami. Like, you literally saved up all this money. You put everything into this. You bet everything. Literally, all the money you saved up, thousands and thousands of dollars. You bet your time. You bet your family, being away from them for years. You bet on yourself. And me personally, as your friend and as a fan of you, I mean, I love the way it's been paying off for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and that's for anyone listening. If there's a big decision in your life where you're like, man, you got to sort of listen. Sometimes you got to listen to that voice in your head telling you to go do it, because most of the time, it pays out, and if it doesn't, like if it fails, then you live and you learn, right? Like you don't get good until you fail first. So I think you just got to bet on yourself always, no matter what. And, I mean, like you said, it paid off for me, and you just got to obviously know what you're capable of, and coming over here has been the best decision. And just meeting people like you, man, if I decided not to come do this, I've got so many friends here in the States, and I got to experience this amazing country. And just I look back, imagine if I went to Europe and didn't even meet any of y'all, didn't play college football, wasn't playing football in front of all these people, like my world would have been completely different. I still would have had a pretty enjoyable life like I was doing, but I mean, it's just a certain event that changed me and got me here.
Yeah, and I think, like, me personally, I think that's so important, right? In order to better yourself, first of all, you gotta have a hell of confidence, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, me put it in work, but just me coming up, I'm from Houston. I know a lot of people north side, live in Cypress, live in Pearland, Arkansas, all that. So it's just like, I know a lot of people that was, not scared to go all in, but sort of way. Like, kind of scared to go all in, because they're like, man, if I really give it all I got and I fail, I can't live with knowing that I gave it all I got and I just wasn't good enough, right? So, and like for you, like you said, like you literally bet on yourself. Like I try to tell myself that every day, like, bro, don't be scared to fail, because at the end of the day, you never really fail if you really gave it all you had. But you fail when you're so scared to do everything right, or just lock in for a year, or lock in for 6 months, or however long you got left to play, college football, go to school, and you just like, oh, it didn't work out because of so and so, Like,
Yeah.
bro, I put it on you.
Yeah, it's all, and it's very easy to find reasons not to do something.
For sure.
Way easier to just like, oh, you know, I don't want to do this because of that, but then rather find reasons why to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was in that situation, to be honest. All my friends ended up going to Europe, doing a sail Croatia, doing all that, having a really good time. And I mean, I sacrificed all that, and I come here, and I mean, yeah, you just got to always bet on yourself. And like we were saying, it's paid off nice.
Bro, it's been hella times where, and I know all of us go through it. We wake up early in the morning, 5 a.m. Like, man, I gotta go run 10-200 right now, plus a lift, right?
Yeah.
But I think, it's all worth it. You know what I mean? Like, I learned so many
Yeah.
lessons doing crazy stuff like that in college football. Just work hard as I can. Like, it's lessons and blessings. That's all it is.
Yeah, and exactly. I think college football is great for anybody. You know, kids coming out of high school to experience this, waking up early, having to do this, having to be on time somewhere. It's a really eye opener to what the real world is, and I think that's why it's so important that this NIL thing come out.
Facts.
Because these players now, like yourself, you guys can experience not only what it's like to get up and have to do something, but now you experience the business world, and you can learn all this in the 4 years you're at college, rather than getting thrown out to the sharks straight up. Because some people go to NFL and they literally don't know what they're doing. So getting to experience what you're doing, now you're going to go to the NFL. And you're going to be like, oh, you know, I'm already part of this. Like, it's good. It's good.
Like,
You get your feet in there. It's good.
I just got done leaving ACC Media Day, and I literally talked about this for like hours. I mean, they asked you the same question, right? And is NIL a good thing? Is it going to divide the locker room? And the way I look at it, bro, is just like, college football is great. It teaches you a lot of lessons. It gives you an opportunity to get a great education. You learn a lot. You know, you have coaches that kind of teach you, kind of father figures, right? But at the same time, like we talked about last time, if you want to go get a job, you got to actually apply, right? And it's kind of like you play college football 4 or 5, however many years, and it's like, even though you make the NFL, it's like, hey, see you later. Like,
yeah, like, what do I do now?
Like, good luck. And it's
how do I do this? How do I do
Exactly.
that? Now, I mean, and there's still some people that, there's still more educational steps that need to be taken, like with taxes and things like that. Like, but me and you personally, like, we're learning those things. We're working. We're working, you know, and we're learning how to get like an EIN to get a business bank account.
Right?
Yeah, just things like that. I didn't know before. Getting an LLC, things like that a lot of places, you know, don't teach you.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's a great thing that we're learning now.
Yeah. And also, like, don't get me wrong, we get a lot of resources. Like, you can go upstairs and talk to Mr. Rudd, talk to whoever you want to talk to and learn about anything. But at the same time, it's like, I mean, I just got to know it's 2-hour workout. I got 3 classes today. I got workouts again at 6 a.m. Like, am I really finna go, you know, take those next steps to learn and, you know, better myself?
Exactly.
It's hard. We should do it, but at the same time, like, we human. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Now we're in a position where if you really want to make the money, you have to do it. Like, there's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. There's no shortcuts. You have to learn how to do this to make money.
Yeah.
If not, then
make money the right way.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, that's what I see as a great thing about this. And honestly, they do have resources. They actually have been helping us a good bit. And they're really the ones teaching us how to open up a business bank account, how to, you know, file taxes, things like that.
And I remember we had a meeting like a month ago, and it was like talking about little things you don't even think about. Like, the guy was teaching us how to stand in the meeting, right? Like, what a confident stance look like and what it doesn't look like. And I think all this I know I took it in, but
No, for real. I was actually at an event the other day, and I caught myself standing like with my arms behind my back or whatever. And I remember straight away, I was like, how I do it too, man, hands in front, like, cross your fingers, and you take away that stuff. And that's shout out to Ms. Jackson, Sherelle Jackson.
Yes,
she runs the student athlete development. I'm actually interning under her right now, and she does an amazing job with getting people like that to come in and talk to the student athletes.
She definitely
she's an amazing woman, and she helps out all the student athletes.
Yeah, she has done a great job, and you could tell she cares about you. And that's one thing I think Miami does well. They hire people that care, like truly care about your well-being and everything.
Bro, we did. I seen some on Instagram today. You know, you've been doing community service like every event, right?
Yeah.
I do like community service. Ron's like community service. And, you know, shout out to like Miss Jackson and George Baez is really, you know, leading that off. And I think we did something like 738 hours or something like that. Like, it's insane, bro. Like, We had a really good play, bro.
Yeah, the football team really went crazy. So shout out to all of us that went out there, and usually on Saturdays or Sundays, and we go out there and do it. Yeah, and it's really enjoyable. It's really fun. I think the other day we went kayaking.
Yeah.
And we'll just drive, ride around our kayaks, clean up rubbish. It was a good time.
That honestly was one of.
Who flipped the kayak?
It was actually Moose and Zion.
So Jared Griffin and Zion were on a kayak. For those they're both huge humans.
Yeah.
And as soon as I got in the kayak, I was like, what's going on? Like usually there's about like that much of the kayak coming out. Like theirs was like that.
There's not even an inch. Like it's about to go in. The water's about to.
If they even like moved a little bit, like water would flood in, and it's just like off and on, and then eventually.
Why did they think it was a good idea for two large 300-pound humans to get in one small kayak?
So that's what I was thinking. And the funny thing is like Lou was saying, like if they moved just a little bit this way, water would seep in that way, so they would move the other way, and the water. Yeah, so then that's how it started. They started rocking back and forth, and then they flipped.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a little 2-man kayak, 2 300-pounders. I was like,
oh, and then freaking Tariq. It was Tariq and what's his the O-line. Jakai. Yeah. It was Tariq and Jakai. They flipped the kayak and they're like, I can't swim. We're like, what? Like
they
had life jackets on.
It was actually really funny.
But the thing was, they're like, all right, don't get in the kayaks if you can't swim. And they're like, oh yeah, cool. The freaking kayak flips over and they're freaking out. I can't swim. I can't. We're all yelling, bro. You have a life jacket on, like just like you're fine. You're literally sitting there right now. But they were freaking out, like throwing their arms.
That's something you don't want to do. You're having drowning, whatever. You don't want to panic and hit the water.
Oh man,
just kill you fast.
But see, moments like that come from community service, giving back. I mean, it's a great feeling to give back, but then also you create great memories with your friends.
You have a camp coming up, right?
I do.
2 days, right?
Saturday. Yep. Saturday morning I have a camp. I'm giving, it's me and Carlos Williams. We're co-hosting a camp back home in Pasadena.
Pasadena, Texas, baby.
Yeah, for those that don't know, so that's where I grew up, southeast side of Houston. And it's a very low income, community. I think it was about 82%. I think the statistic is that are on free or reduced lunches. And I mean, it was just, growing up, I always, I was fortunate enough to have like the things I needed. And, if I didn't, I had, tons of family. I always got, like hand-me-downs from my older brothers. So that was cool and all. I always had everything I needed. But there was also people I went to school with that didn't have like things like a backpack or shoes or any school supplies. So that's one thing that me and Carlos did. He went to South Houston High School. I went to Pasadena Memorial. We're like, man, we need to come together and create something for this city. And so we created this camp to just give back. And all the kids that show up, we're all giving them, free backpack with school supplies. It's a free camp where it's hosted at Soho. And so we're just putting, notebooks, pencils, paper, erasers, colors, all that in the backpack. Yeah, for sure. And I think we have like 90 people signed up already.
Awesome.
Yeah, and
free camp, no cost.
No cost. I mean,
if you're in that area, you got to get down there.
100%. I mean, it's a great thing, and I'm excited to do it, and I hope to keep doing it for years on.
For sure.
Mhm.
And as going back on NIL, now it gives the opportunity for guys like yourself to go do stuff like that without it being a problem. Like a lot of people, I mean, just like everything else, they always want to pick out what about this, or how about like what the positives of this whole thing. Yeah. We've discussed a few of them, but just things like that. You've got a camp going on for kids to come down. You can give things to like little kids, like a backpack and all that. You can teach them some football.
Absolutely.
I mean, in the past we weren't allowed to do that.
Yeah, and then without NIL, I wouldn't be able to do this camp. I mean, literally, I asked, hey, can I post this, about the camp 2 months ago? But they're like, no, NIL hasn't passed yet. I was like, wow, I can't even say that. I can't even post about it, and it's a free camp. Like, I'm not charging anybody anything. Yeah, I'm not making any money off of it. Yeah. I'm paying, like I'm using my money, to help fund this. Of course, we're taking donations, but some money's coming out of my pockets to do this. But yet, I still can't do it. So I mean, I think NIL is a great thing.
Absolutely, man. Lou, I really appreciate you, joining the show, bro. It's big. First guest, and I'm just glad it was one of our best friends. Great person, great dad, a great punter.
you know, a lot of people just see the tattoos and they, you know, automatically are used to, at least, you know, just assume things about you. They don't know the person. So I'm glad you were able to come on here and get to know the person. You know, you're not just some guy with tattoos. You're a person that just so happens to have a lot of them, you know?
He's not just some guy with tattoos that punch the ball. Like, he has a lot of depth, bro. He's been through a lot. I wish we could talk about it all on this show. Y'all would love that. But, I mean, like Ron said, he's a great person, bro. You know, real talk. I really appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you guys getting me on the show as a first guest. I think I discussed to you guys earlier, like how important it was for me to actually come on something like this. I haven't really been on a podcast where I talk about myself and where I'm from and my family and everything, you know, what I went through to get here. It's always these short little clips people see me. They see the official visit photos where I'm like tensing up and stuff, and then that's not a representation of me, you know. It was good for publicity, but other than that, like, that's not me. I'm real chill, down to earth, and, you know, I love getting on the show tonight. I really enjoyed it.
So we haven't talked about this. We're gonna start doing this for every guest. So like, if you have like anything closing, it's like one like thing you want. If it's a kid watching the show or anybody, it could be an adult watching the show. Anything that you want to tell somebody, like give some advice to. It could be as far as like, you know, don't give up. Anything like that.
Yeah. All right. Best advice I could give. It's obviously different for college players going into the NFL, but I feel the greatest thing you can do, one of the greatest things you can do, is get out of the country and go work somewhere else, experience a third world country, go experience another country, the culture, the people, everything. Like, look, myself as an example, I come over to America and look how much my life has changed. I think, and not even, it doesn't have to be football or college. I mean, it doesn't matter. You can go to volunteer in a different country. You can go work in a bar and make some money just to meet ends. But like, you're traveling, experience the universe. The world is so big. The planet is huge. For you to just stay in your own country, your own state is wild. I think my best advice is to just get out and experience everything while you're young. Even if you're old, just go experience it if you haven't. I think that's my biggest advice to anyone.
That's great.
Well, Lou, I just want to tell you, I love you, and I'm glad you're able to do this with us, and I'm glad you came to America.
Appreciate you, boys. Love you, boys.
Everybody that's tuned in right now, we really appreciate you guys, you know, watching the King and Ragone show for a second episode. And just our second episode, like, we literally just, you know, try to do something different, and really appreciate you guys. Just all the positive feedback, all the negative feedback. We appreciate everything. Just, you know, stay tuned for the third episode.
Exactly. So from me, Lou, Derek, we want to thank y'all, and thank y'all for tuning in from the King and Ragone show. We will see y'all later.
Buying bread from a man in Brussels.